All right, so there we go. So like we were saying, kit was bought from Formbot. Cost was roughly $1,000 US. Should include nearly everything you need with the exception of printed parts. That'd be the ABS parts that are required for the Voron 2.4. There are multiple ways of getting those additional parts. You can print them yourself. You can use the print it forward, which you can check out on the Discord or on the Voron website. I will warn you though in advance, if you do see it or find it on Discord or on the Voron website, it does seem like that moves awfully slow. So you could be waiting, like say a month, but maybe 2, 3 to get those parts. You probably spend a lot of time tweaking your own printer and getting it just right, get everything just the way you need it to print your own probably before you get those parts from Printed Forward. But the hopes are the more people that actually build these, the more people that will do it, the more people that will help out, and kind of make a progression forward in terms of getting quality printers out there to people that are more than just functional knick-knack makers. So without further ado, razor blade, let's get this open. So shipping was kind of odd. It didn't get any real information or anything from Formbot that my item had shipped until I contacted them, let them know I was waiting and that I wanted to do an unboxing, etc. This is not a paid by any means video or anything. I got absolutely nothing from Formbot. Obviously with a new channel like this I'm getting nothing from anybody. The hopes are to maybe at some point have enough people that are interested in the things I'm doing, maybe are doing the things I'm doing, and at that point, who knows, maybe it can spawn forward and we can do more fun things, right? So again, about $1,000 roughly US. Printed parts, go back on that real quick. If you do use Printed Forward, you do pay pretty much for the filament and a couple bucks for the time and then the shipping. It's around about $100 for the parts from Printed Forward, which is a pretty good deal. I mean, a decent reel of ABS filament, specifically if you're going for the HATCHBOX filament or something similar, you're going to wind up probably in the range of $80 to $100 just for the filament, not including the electricity, the time, possibly the aggravation, everything else going along with that. Another source, actually the source I wound up using was I found a decent seller on eBay. I'm not a huge fan of eBay in general, but after weighing all of my options, it was going to be the best way to get my parts. Frankly, I have everything here except for the skirts and a few little auxiliary items like that, but this will get me up and running. I do plan on printing all of the red additional pieces here, the accent pieces, on my Ender 5 in a blue crystal ABS. I haven't started doing that. I'm going to start doing that probably today or tomorrow, and I probably will not be using the red pieces that came in this kit, but the pieces I did get, they look really nice. I'll talk more about them when I get to that point where I'm starting to use these parts. I did tell the guy that I got them from, I give him a quick shout out in case he wants to make some more. He sells them for a little bit more Printed Forward, but I ordered that 3-4 days ago and it's here. So everything here pretty much, if you source, you know, obviously not source the individual parts, but source different places to get some of the things, you can get it done, get things to you, so you can actually start building within a week or two. So keep that in mind. Keep your options open. Look at what you have and kind of weigh what you want to do. I'm very impatient, so I really wanted to get things here as soon as possible. So in a second here, we'll continue. All right, so you probably see up on the screen here, it's been there for a while. I have bill of materials. And I did copy this out and make my own on a Google sheet here. So when you download off of the Voron website a bill of materials, it's going to break it down into fasteners, motion, electronics, and some other items, miscellaneous items, things like that. So I'm going to go through at least a good portion of this right now, the major parts at least. I'm not going to go through every single screw. It doesn't make sense. I don't think anybody wants to watch that. But check off what I have. More for me, for you too, but for me more than you, obviously. I want to make sure I have everything I need to get this build going. I don't want to get midway through the build and find I'm missing parts. So with that, everything seems pretty well packaged. About 1.5 inches of styrofoam on top, about 1.5 inches all the way around actually. So packing, I would say, quality of the box, everything was pretty good. DHL did a great job getting it here. So don't see anything at the very top here that's broken. First thing I got on this box is some acrylic panels. They do have the protective film on them. I'll assume they're cut to the proper size, but it looks like I got some sides, some top. I've got quite a good score there of acrylic. All right. Next up, looks like some additional panels. I don't know that. And Alexa's trying to talk to me. Some additional panels, probably the I guess the top, bottom, back panels here. They're in a black acrylic, I believe. Yeah, they're not solid. They're pretty opaque. They're not see-through. A little bit of plastic marred right there, but I don't think I'm ever going to notice. It's not that bad. Not familiar with the brand, but it's plastic, right? Just like anything else. All right, so getting through that, let's get over to the screen here, and looks like let's see here. Looks like we're going to be down, not the frame. Loctite, grease, cables, where would be panels? Here we go. All right, so 420 by 420 by 4, 420 by acrylic sheet. So Coroplast sheet. Those would be the black sheets, and I do agree that they're all here. They're all cut. They look like they're pre-cut with proper holes in them. Mark that off. Oops. All right, and the acrylic sheets, just for quickness here, we got a total of 5, and I do have 5. So 5 and 5, I'll call it good. We're not going to drag things on any further than we have to. Got that. All right, so next, some more styrofoam spacing. Nice little pad in between the acrylic and parts. First thing I'm seeing is some decent looking rails. I'm not going to take those out yet, but some more packing. And a bunch of stuff. This looks like fun. Alright, so as a complete kit goes, I can tell you that I see quite a few things in here. I'm actually kind of surprised at the length they went to get everything in here. Looks like I got my single diode, which I know is on this list because I haven't checked, but I wondered why there was a diode. It's right there, the BAT85 diode. I'm going to mark that off because I have it. Probably should grab another box, huh? You know what? Why not use this HATCHBOX? I'm not going to confuse that. Right there, I got a heater, 24 volt, 40 watt, and let's see where that is. Is that under electronics? 24 volt. You guys watching this are probably laughing because you might see it on the screen before I do. That's what happens when you're trying to do something here. Miscellaneous. I don't see it yet here. You know what? See what's also effort. 40 W. Nothing. Alright, 40 W watts. And nothing there either, huh? Alright, 40. What can we find with a 40 in it? Nylon ties, female pins, microfit. Let's see, I got the heater, a thermistor. Alright, let's try extruder. EMG extruder components kit. Alright, well, I am not finding on my bill of materials this here, but we'll set it aside for now. It'll probably turn up. Alright, next up, I got an SD card. That is obviously for the Raspberry Pi. That is also included in the kit. I do expect that to be on electronics, possibly on the miscellaneous. Let's see here. Nope. And micro switches, keystones, stepper motors, Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, so why don't we put a line there for that for now? We have the SD card to go with it. 16 gigabyte. I'm sure it's enough. I have more around and I have more Raspberry Pis, but I'm not going to turn down another one. Do a lot with the Raspberry Pi. And leave that in here for a second. I'm actually looking for the Raspberry Pi so I can mark that off complete. Oh, there we go. So, Raspberry Pi, 2 gigabyte of RAM. Yep. Raspberry Pi Model B 2 gig version. They do make a version with more RAM on it. From what I understand, well, actually I use Clipper now, and even with Octoprint, Clipper, Mainsail, all those functions, most people say Raspberry Pi 4 is overkill, so the 2 gig version is probably fine. I use a 3B currently with my Clipper, and I have no issues. I do not have a camera on it, so that'll be a good upgrade, I guess, because we probably will wind up running Clipper on this. So we'll call that complete for the Raspberry Pi. All right, and let's see what we got next. So, just doing some big components here. This is fun. So, from what I've seen in videos, the Voron dev team didn't even realize that this is going to happen, but it's branded. So right here is the Spider 446 version 1. It says design. Well, it says designed for Voron, but we'll say designed for Voron. Supposedly, it's a very nice board. Looking at it from my perspective, which is relatively green. Might as well take it out of packaging here. Where'd my eraser go? It looks really nice. I mean, honestly, I've only used Creality stuff up until now. Definitely a nice header system here for your higher powered devices. Stepper drivers are all socketed, so if you lose one, you can swap it out. If something magical comes down the road and this board will work with it, you can swap it out. It's got your fans on there. It's got your XYZ axes. It's got a couple expansions for screens and whatnot. It does have a USB Type-C connector on it, which is nice because, frankly, I don't know anything wouldn't use a Type-C if it's going to USB at this point. It also has a header for USB. Saw it in a different video. I think it might have been Nero 3D that mentioned that. Really like that, especially when hooking it up to like Raspberry Pi. Currently on my Creality 4.2.7 board, I have it wired just on the front using a USB cable. I attempted, or at least I thought of attempting, to soldering directly to the board because I really don't like having a cable I can pull out. But my soldering skills are only so good. And when I was looking at the bottom of that board and looking at those pins, it kind of scared me a little. So I decided not to do it. So anyways, there we go. We have that. And that actually replaces the SKR 1.4 that's listed. 2021 chip crisis is everywhere. So I see it at my work. I see it here. I hear about it on the news. So I'm going to assume there was a component on the other board nobody can get. Okay, so major components. All right, what do we got here? Oh, I'm going to do this next. So the Big Tree Tech stepper drivers. These are TMC's 2209s. They all are 2209s. Good. Obviously, these made up with the board. It's a silent, just like all of them are now. Very good driver point. Understand, excuse me. Yep, so we have a total of 7 of those. Just for those that don't know, the Voron actually has 4 Z-axis motors, steppers, stepper motors. And because of that, requires a little bit more oomph, huh? So, moving on from there, we have the power supply. And let's mark off those steppers. Driver 7777. Yep. Alright, so power supply, let's see what we got. This is where you can wind up with a mixed bag with some no brand, not so great stuff. And this says it's a Meanwell. It's logoed. It's all there. Looks pretty nice. Don't see any reason to believe it's not. And from what I've heard from other folks, also buying Formbot kits, they're getting Meanwell. So Meanwell is on the upper end of what you can use for power supply. There are much cheaper units out there, but you're dealing with high voltage mains power, converting it to lower 24, 48 volt, 12 volt powers, and you don't want to mess with that if you don't have to. Good way to burn out electronics. You know, for an extra 20, 30, even 40, 50, 100 bucks, it probably makes sense so you can save the rest of your investment. And let's see if we can get that written off here. Stepper drivers, Raspberry Pi, Meanwell power supply right there. And that is D24, so right there. So there should also be a 5 volt. And what do we have here? Voltage with an adjustment. And 100 to 240 in. This is the RS255. So that is your 5 volt. I know that's going to be for the Pi, since that's running 5. I don't know if anything else runs on that 5, but again, a Meanwell, so it looks good. It seems like a good part. Here, so I opted, since I use my computer, my PC mostly for designing and slicing and everything else, and sending it over to through Clipper using fluid. I didn't opt for a big screen. I probably will do something eventually with a tablet, either adjacent to or mounted to or somewhere near my printer. I just like a web GUI better than an interface on the actual printer, because I don't really touch them. My current printer right now is actually inside of a Creality enclosure, and I don't touch the actual screen or the button on it. So I got the simple version, just basically knob, dial, screen, interconnects to the main board. Put that back in, and we'll get that checked off. That is, let's see, the diode, NEMO is not yet. Power inlet socket, mini display right there. The 12864 mini display. Done with that. All right. All right. What else we got here? This is, what is this? Looks like a relay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So my current printer is using a BL Touch, which is a mechanical bed leveling device. It works really well, and this will be my new bed leveling device. It's an inductive probe. I don't know much about inductive probes other than the fact that I assume that once they get some of the resistance changes, and it probably, based on what I'm thinking, an inductive probe can probably measure distance as opposed to just telling whether or not something's been hit, like a BL Touch does. I mean, it's really just a really sensitive switch when you think about it. So, yeah. And let's see what else we got here. On that. We've got a small container of connectors, which I got spares too, because this is one of those components that either A, you're going to possibly mess up on, or B, you're not going to have enough of, or C, you're going to wish you had more of anyways. Basically, yeah. And to go along with those two, you're going to need a decent pair of crimpers. And it's probably going to be another video right there, is crimping and soldering. Everybody's doing it. All the kids, the fun thing to do these days, crimp and solder, right? Right there we have a thermistor. Looks like a thermistor with a solderable connector and some heat shrink, and pre-bagged with the connector on it. NTC 100K, so it's 100K thermistor. If you've played all Marlin, I don't remember if Clipper does it, but you can change kind of what your thermistor is, and you have to set that up properly. So let's see here, thermistor, let's see, thermal fuse, inductive probe, Hotend, display, power socket, fan, SKR. Where are ya? Not seeing it. Alright. Cables, maybe put in the cables. Well, let's see here. We got our pins. I'll go ahead and mark those off while we're here. We'll call that good. Alright, well, I'm going to set that one aside as well. Put that along with the heater. Kind of odd. Maybe it's part of the package with the extruder head. Maybe they're lumping it all together. And I'm going to take a quick break, get a drink, and I will be right back. Alright. Sorry about that. Let me get a drink. First YouTube video, so apologize for my editing skills. The audio is probably not that great. I do have a couple more cameras coming. Thinking about picking up some lapel microphones, something wireless, so my son and I can wear them so you can hear our little in-depth daddy-son conversations, but bear with me through this one, and hopefully things get better, right? All right, so moving on. Let's do something random here. It looks like a charcoal filter. Oh, this is for the back of the unit. I won't say a charcoal filter will stop ABS fumes and whatnot from getting out and going places where they shouldn't, such as your lungs, but it will definitely help. So that is on the bill. And there we go. I get that one. All right. You guys missed. Spilled some of my drink. So looks like some black wire, silicone, nice flexible stuff. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's see what it looks like on the inside, because Mom always said it's what's on the inside that counts. So, alright, looks tin, assume it's copper. Pretty fine wire, so it's good strand on it, good strand count, so it's pretty decent wire. Well, you can tell it's got some weight to it, so not too shabby. Let's see here, silicone wire, 250 feet. I believe this would be the 20 gauge. We got one of those. Actually, whoops. One of these. Of course, it's all black, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's 24 gauge. Okay, so this would be the 20 gauge. This is a red wire, also silicone. Pretty decent, it seems. Yep, pretty good stuff. Really fine strands, not cheap. Seems pretty good. So, sometimes the little things that count, especially when we deal with electronics and wire and whatnot. So, we got that as well. So that's the wire there. All right, next PTFE tubing, 3x4. That's okay. So 3 millimeter inner diameter, 4 millimeter outer diameter, 1 meter. It looks like there's about a meter of that. I also have floating around here somewheres, maybe in a bin. I do have some Capricorn tubing. Here's some. I prefer the Capricorn. I've been 3D printing now for a couple of years. It's you know, people buy it for the heat reasons. You know, when they do a hot end, and they have problems with the cheaper stuff kind of melting to the end. I think it's way smoother inside and out, and filament just glides better in it. And it's one of those things that adds up when you're printing something. You know, along with you know, decent filament, low moisture in your filament, a good Bowden tube, if you have a Bowden tube. If you don't have a Bowden tube, still a decent, even a direct drive usually has at least small sections inside of it. Having decent components like that. So I don't know that I'll be using that, but it's good to have spare stuff. So we get that. This looks like a Cat 5. I just said Cat 6. Cat 5, Cat 6, Ethernet, female to female jack. An extension, if you will. Not quite sure what that's going to be for. Definitely seems like something they may have been able to leave out, but for all I know, this could be the most important component of the whole thing. So, well, actually, it says on the list, Keystone Cat 6 insert optional. So, optional component included. So, kudos to them for that. All right, I got a bunch of fans in here. We're trying to hold off on doing those. I think it's zip ties too. Something else you don't necessarily expect to get with something that you buy relatively inexpensively. I'm not going to count the zip ties, but they sent me what looks like a bunch. I'm just looking to see where it is. And nylon cable ties, 40 of them, sure, 40 it is. If you don't have zip ties, go get some. Oh, thermal fuse. 15 amp. Cuts off at, see that? It's actually been a conversation for some folks, a little too bright. There we go. Cuts off at 125 degrees Celsius. I don't know what I'd be printing over 125 degrees Celsius. Does seem, I guess, slightly low to me. But then again, it's off to the side of the build plate, so assuming that portion gets to 125 degrees, your center point on your build plate is probably going to be substantially hotter by 10-15 degrees. So I think it's probably plenty. I'm sure there's reasons for it, and if I didn't agree with it, I'm sure somebody would tell me 30 reasons why I should. So I'll just go with it. Thermal fuse, here we go. 1, boom, and power cord. I just saw that, so it's kind of a standard Neo style power cord. Slide right there, and then we can hit that one off because we have it. And then solid state relay. I didn't see that. So solid state relay. I'll talk about that for a second. That's been like a huge point of contention with nearly everybody that makes these and talks about making these, and I don't see mine. But basically, it's one of those components that's really important, because I guess the way it fails is on a failure for that solid state relay, it solids to a closed state, meaning that current will continue to flow to your hot bed, your bed heater, and so failure is not an option. Of course, you do have the thermal relay that will cut it off too, but then, you know, one thing leads to another. How many points of failure do you want to have? You might as well have multiple redundancies and not having a failure versus having redundancies on a failure. So supposedly, once I find it, I'm going to look for it here in a second, the one that they give you might be a little bit chintzy. You should definitely go with the On brand, the Omron G3A-210B-DC5 SSR. Basically 5 volts, I believe, is what it's saying, and it will solid state relay the full mains current coming into it from there. Let me see if I can find the one that's supposed to be in here. Bed. Yeah, definitely not seeing that. It's kind of odd. Everything would be in here, not be in here. We'll come back to that one, but either they decided they had complete junk and they didn't want to package it, or it's in here somewheres, or it was forgotten. That could be the first thing that we had that was forgotten, right? Yeah, I don't see it. No bueno, not in here. All right, well, spade connectors. We'll jump right down to that. Let's see here: cables, panels, build plate, connectors. Spade terminals, 7 of them. There is at least, oh, I see there's spades in here, so we'll say 7 of those. And we just had those. There's the JSTs. Those are in another bag. Microfit connectors. There are some slide connectors on here too that I don't see. I don't see them. But I'm sure they're needed. I'm pretty sure they didn't send me anything free. Alright, so skip over that. We'll get right here into, looks like 3M tape. This would be for the panels. But it's probably in the miscellaneous. Yep, the VHB tape, the 5952. What was provided is not 5952, I don't believe. It is a 3M product. I don't know for sure what it is. I get 2 different sizes here. One of them is by an Asian adhesive company, and the other was by 3M. So we'll mark that for now, like that. Neodymium magnets, I just saw those. Let's see if I can find those again. They're not. Alright. Alright, well, we'll skip over that. Get to the chains. So, I got 3 chains. And I don't know if they put that with the cables or with miscellaneous, fume extractor, magnets, Voron tube for spool holder, Voron coupler. Let's see. Oh, no, those are cable ties. No, let's try to search again. There we go. I will agree. I have 2 of the shorter 355 millimeter and 1 of the longer 495 millimeter. So it's 2. That's 1. That's done. Okay. And rubber feet. Yeah, I did see a funny video about this. The ones that they had gotten almost looked like they were 3D printed. Ooh, that's a little stinky. Ooh, ooh, ooh. These do not look like they're 3D printed at all. They're pretty smooth. I see a little bit of a pattern on top. They're probably stamping these out by the thousands on the same molds, using cheap rubber. Which, I mean, it serves a purpose. It's a rubber foot. It's not, you know, nothing major there. So let's get that marked off. Yeah, I assume it's miscellaneous. If it's not, I don't know what's going on. Alright. Rubber compressor foot. Vibration management. Zone section. Alright, so 4. We got 4 feet. Alright. Well, let's do the rails. Got the rails. We're going to do the rails. And actually, I'll slide this aside a little bit. And slide that a little bit. Actually, I'm going to do that. So, rails are kind of interesting in the sense that it was one of the things that I was contemplating buying separately just because of how important they are. They can also be pretty expensive. But I gotta tell you, and I'm not a rail professional, for all the rail professionals out there, but damn, this slide's nice. I mean, you compare that to, again, I'm coming from like an Ender, a Creality machine. You compare that from a rubber wheel on a guide. That seems awesome. Let's check this out. Let's see if I have heard that some of them are. Okay, so yeah, so the first one was definitely smoother, but honestly, and as you work it, it's actually going to, these are the types of things that wear in a good way. So as you use them, they're going to wear, and that's a good thing. That's really good. So yeah, and let's see here. Yeah, again, really good, really good. And these aren't branded either. Yeah, just like I saw in another video. There's some, there's some scratch marks on the back of these with looks like 2 numbers. This one, for instance, has a 0 and a 54. It may be quality control or assembler and a quality control or 2 quality controls. I don't know. But I will say, again, these seem pretty good. They fall under their own weight. That's always a good sign. A little fine oil on it. Nothing too bad, though. I have heard a lot of things come with a lot of kind of sticky, stinky Cosmoline type oil on it. This one's really good. But I'm not really seeing that on at least these rails, which are the only metal component I've opened so far. But they don't stink. They're not sticky. They're not overly greased. All this will get cleaned and properly greased before they're put on, though. This one has looks like an O and an LN. So again, I'm guessing it's marking from manufacturing, possibly quality control. Yeah. That one's got a different tone quality to it. But, yeah. Yep, not too bad. And last one. Alright. Yep. I might save the best for last on that one. Wow. Another tip on these that I've also heard is that these come off. There's probably about 80, maybe, yeah, or so ball bearings inside of this. Do not lose the little end pins, or do not take those out and slide that off, because the ball bearings are going to go wherever they want to go, and you're going to have to buy another rail. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rails, and the rails are. Where are we? That's the frame. Electronics, nope. Motion, that should be where the motion is. Where are my rails? Rail, linear, 350 millimeter. I guess just for funsies we can measure those rails. Make sure they are 350 millimeter. Let's see here. Okay. So, yep, on the money. 350 millimeter. So 8 of them. 8. All right. And we're on a space in that box. Kind of get into the literal nuts and bolts of this whole thing here. Some more connectors. I'm going to start just kind of slipping over that. Do some fans next. Looks like some 120 millimeter. 24 volt, 1.8 watt Sun-ons. Maglev. For a quiet but still thrusty fan. From what I understand, these are pretty good. You know, you can buy, you know, the Noctua, however you say it. Everybody knows the brown and beige. Those are really good fans. They work really well. But I've been told that they actually reduce the amount of speed they put in the fans. That's how they get the volume or the sound, the amount of decibels that come out of them awfully low. These are supposed to be kind of an equal plane between that and something that functions the way it should. So we have 3 here, and let's see, fans, electronics, maybe. Let's just search here. Fan, centrifugal fan. That's not you. 60 by 60 by 20. That's these guys. 3. So, yep. As an American, the metric system is not used all that often. I do appreciate it though. I kind of wish that we would move over to the metric system for everything except for temperature. And this right here is I call it a squirrel fan, but they're going to call it a centrifugal fan. One of them. Okay. All right. Oh, man, we got one more fan here. All these have been Sun-ons, by the way. Pretty good. And this is a small guy. This is a 40. Let's see here. 40 by 40 by 10. Yep. So there's that. All right. Getting to the point where there's some things here that I'm probably not going to find on that list awful quick because I don't know what they're called. But belts, I do know belts. These are all, and from what I'm told, they're matching up with what I've heard. These are all Gates belts, maybe. Maybe. Power grip Gates, yep. Power grip. Yep, so I'm going to say these are all Gates belts. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of one size. That's probably under motion if I had to guess. Belt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1010 millimeter. I'm going to go along with that. So it's at 3.3 meters ish. And let's see here, 188 millimeter belt. 100. Why isn't that open belt? 1800 millimeter. Okay, that's that. There's two of these. There's two of these. Okay. So where is this guy? 188 millimeter. That over here. Oh, let's look for 188, right? Oh, right in front of my face. That's a belt loop. That's not what we want. Maybe. Oh, they are loops. Okay, I see what I got here. So there are 4 loops in this package. I thought they were a single belt, but they're 4 loops. So they're all there. I just was blind for a second. So happens when you're over 40, right? Alright, so I got some idlers, some other things. I got some short Bowden tube stuff. Bowden. I'm going to skip over some of the stuff here. I'm going to actually skip over the shims, the screws, yeah. I'm going to assume that most of it's here. That smells like oil. And I can actually see some browning on that right there. So, to clean those off, I'll probably, as I've seen other people do, take a paper towel, put them on there, spray them with some alcohol real quick. I got all the spare hand sanitizer now, so do that. I'm going to put these rods, I'm actually going to take this all, I'm going to leave this all right here, actually. And I'm going to actually use this, put this back in, and put the rails back on that. Off the rails. Again. That. I set that aside along with the acrylic panels. Okay. Now, the bed. Interesting. Okay. Not what I was expecting, but in a good way. That is heavy for a woman. Again, good packaging all the way through. They're doing a very good job of layering everything. And not only are they layering it based on, shape and whatnot, they're also layering it based on the type of components in some ways. Most of this is electronics. Some mechanical stuff, but mostly electronics. And this next section here was the bed. So, what do we got here for a bed? We've got 110 volt, 450 watt heater. 3M adhesive on the back, looks very nice. I mean, I think there's probably 3 or 4 companies manufacturing these. They all pretty much look the same to me. This one's obviously Asian in descent. Pretty good leads on there, pretty long, I guess. They're probably not going to make it all the way to wherever I need to get to, but they're a good try. And then I got what looks to be, it's not, it's got a protective film on it or what, but that's nice. Nice flex plate. So it looks like a coated flex plate. You know, a textured side and a semi-smooth side. There's a weird. Stand by. I feel like maybe it's just dirty, but let's double check. Oh, I'll call. We're gonna call it smooth. I wouldn't have called it exactly smooth, but it does feel like it's well, it's pretty smooth. You know, it's not glass smooth, but it's smooth enough. How about that? A little bit of dirt on there. I think for manufacturing, who knows? But it seems like a pretty decent flex plate, build plate. I've never had a flex build plate. I've had the original Creality build plate somewhere around here that comes with the Ender 5, and then I swapped it out for a glass build plate. This is one of those only time can tell type of things. This is a magnetic topper for your bed. So the thing is with this type of system is it's really nice. I mean, to be able to pop that off, hopefully when the bed's not full temperature, depending on what you're printing, but cool down a little bit and just give it a quick, quick little jolt like that, and everything just comes right off of that. That's nice. The magnetic that sticks to goes on your aluminum plate. The aluminum plate obviously is your base that you're working off of. Aluminum's great because it's easy to mill. It's also, they're able to mill it pretty flat. It handles heat really well, conducts heat pretty well. Actually, a little note there, I guess science note, since this is going to be kind of a family-friendly, kid-friendly type of thing, educational. The better a metal conducts heat, it will also conduct electricity. So if you look back in time at household wiring, during war periods, this is going deep, during war periods you'll see that copper wire was actually switched over to aluminum. The reason why they did that is they needed the copper for ammunition, and aluminum is readily available and it almost conducts as well as copper, so they went to aluminum. So aluminum is a great conductor of electricity, great conductor of heat. If you know it's one or the other, then it will be the other one as well. How about that? So anyways, back to this. The magnetic surface that attaches to, and then your build plate goes to. The problem is, if you print with high temperatures, is magnets do not like heat to the extent that they lose their magnetism if they get too much heat. On the high end of that, it's about 135 usually. I don't know enough about it to explain why or to know if this will or won't do that, but I guess some of them will lose them even around 100. Some will go up to 135. I'm assuming it's just a different manufacturing process, components they're using to do it. I do plan on doing some printing with ABS, which will put me up around 110. Which would make me safe if it is a really good magnet, and will fail probably within a year if it's not, maybe less than that. So, aluminum build plate. This has a declaration on it. It says, this is precision machined aluminum plate. So the surface has marks of processing as we tested. The flatness of the plate is negative 0.15 millimeter. And my assumption, that sounds pretty flat. I mean, it is, it should be, we'll say it is, it should be a 300 millimeter. Yeah, Yeah, 300. The bigger piece of metal is, the harder it is to make it flat, so it seems pretty good. I'm going to be using bed leveling as well. You know, a lot of people put a lot of effort and time and resources and thoughts into having perfectly flat build plates. Nothing is perfectly flat. There's no such thing as a straight line, and nothing is perfectly flat. So I'm sure this is fine, probably more than fine. I do feel some small ripples from the machining on it, on this side. Which is kind of odd. Kind of interesting, actually. I don't know if it's a texture thing based on the machining and how they're doing it, or if it's actually risen or beveled indents where the machining process happens. So basically, it looks like the machining process, they went one way, go the other way, come this way, go the other way, go this way, and then they meet, and it almost feels like little peaks, but I'm not sure. And that might be that negative 0.15. But it seems like if I feel it with my finger, it's more than that. I do plan on using it though. I did not order another build plate. It's plenty thick. I'd say it probably weighs about probably 3 pounds, maybe 3.5. So sandwich as it goes. Build plate, magnet, flexible. Actual build plate, like that, and underneath that will be the heater. All right, so put that aside. All right, gonna get this done here pretty soon. Bubble this off. More packaging, and in here we have stepper motors by Okeda Motor. Some pulleys. Alright. I've been neglecting this here. Let me get this back real quick. Is there a build plate section? Fastener motion, electronics. I did see those. I'm just gonna mark them because I did see them. Inductive probe, get that. Yep. So the E3D V6 Voron Hotend kit. That's right here. Looks good. I mean, from what I understand, it's a clone. I don't see any markings on it that say E3D or anything like that. So. Oops. I'll agree it's a clone, but it's machined well, it's polished, it's nice. I ordered a Dragon that I'm going to build with, but I have no problem having an extra spare hot end, right? So I'm going to mark that down. And socket, I just saw that. This is you can get these on Amazon. I actually build arcade machines as well. You can buy these for a couple of bucks, but we got that, so that's there. I probably have some. I did not see a USB cable unless I find it. And all right. So let's motor it. Once a little different. Oh, here we go. So solid state relay, gold solid state relay. If you write gold on it, it's going to be good, right? So it is as far as I know, a generic. I'll probably do a little research and see if I see anything about this to see if I do feel it's usable. But that's something you have to decide on your own. Right now, I'm kind of thinking no. I'm probably going to order the actual one that's recommended. But I will look to see if that one's halfway decent, and if I think of it, I'll try to. Yeah, probably when I wind up putting it on, you'll see if I use this one or the other one. If this one's halfway decent, I'll use it. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to. And that's kind of what you have to do going into this, is you have to realize that some of the things you're going to get may not be the best, and you have to decide whether or not you want to use them. So I'm going to mark that 1/2, because I don't know what else to mark it. So we'll mark that 1/2. Alright, so that's the hand, that's that. I'll put that away. I'll put this back here. I'm going to see if we can find these pulleys. Let's see if there's something we'll find here. Pulleys, yep. Alright, so 3. These all look the same. Pulleys. 4. 16 tooth, 8 tooth, 20 tooth. If I had to make a quick guess, I'd say these are 80 tooth pulleys. These are the larger ones. I'm going to say all the pulleys are here because I did see the other pulleys. So I'm going to mark those all off with these. These are, again, I see set screws floating around the packages. It would be nice if they kind of put them into the thing so I didn't have to worry about losing them. But look like they're cast. No, it's weird. They almost look cast, but I see machining grooves on them. So I'm going to say they're machined. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on them. They're just, yeah, they're in the plastic. It's kind of hard to tell, but all right. So now I got some bearings, some F695 bearings. So F695. All right, bearings, 20 of them. Maybe. I wouldn't have guessed there's 20 of them in here. 1, 2. Yep. So I will agree. There are 20 bearings right there. 20. All right. So those 20 bearings are here, and the 625 bearings. 625 bearings. 12 of them. 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 of those. Yes. All right. What is this? Actually, I'm going to slide this over right now so you can kind of see what they did with the packaging here. And you know, this is probably a little bit nicer than some of the other levels have been, but the packaging's pretty dang decent. I've definitely had things that are packaged much worse. All right, camera issue there. So this is miscellaneous gear, springs. Looks like extruder parts. If I had to make an halfway educated guess, let me see here. Let's see here, extruder parts. I don't know. Oh, right there. Extruder component kits. All right, one right there. Boom. Good. All right, put that back. What else I got? Bearings. All right, we're down to extrusions and let's see, DIN mounts. Where are we? It's getting easier now. There's less things on here, huh? So that we didn't get. Let's see here. 17 step motor. That's probably the shorty. All right, what did we got there? This is 17HSO8 1004. Oh, 104. Okay. I'm going to assume that is that. It's probably for the extruder. And then the remaining 6 all match. And they are right here just for my own contentment here. Let's see. Whew. Weighty on those. Not too bad though. Let's see. 17s, yes. HS 19, 2. Those 2004 S1. Those match up very well. It would be nice if they had connections on these as opposed to a wiring harness. But again, it's one of those like tos as opposed to need tos. So got that. I'm not going to deal with the shafts. Don't have that. All right, DIN rail mounts, brackets. I'm assuming I have the DIN rail mount brackets. I do have the DIN rails as well. Where are the DIN rails? DIN rails, 3 rails, 2. DIN 3 rails. Okay, 420 millimeter. Well, mine are 410. But I do recall reading somewheres or hearing somewheres that you need to cut them back so they fit. So they're probably pre-cut. So good there. All right. And let's see here. Open builds angle corner connector. I don't think I need that. I'll mark that one off too because it's supposed to be. Actually, you know what? I do have those. It's on the first package. Those are to mount the bed to the base. So we got that. I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, these are all the these are all the extrusions. So I've got. I'm just gonna take one out. These almost seem painted. Where does it go? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think this is anodized. I mean, it's the shiniest anodize I've ever seen. If it is. No, it seems decent anyways. It's aluminum. It looks nice. You see, nice and straight, nice and flat. They're well protected here in the box. So I'm going to call that good for all of those. And there's a bunch. All right. So most of these items, I don't believe came with my kit. That did. I have PTFE grease. I do not have EP2 grease. I have thread locker, DHB tape. We have 100mm piece for spool holder. Don't have it. Don't need them. I'm going to need it either. I do have some couplers. I'm going to assume that all these connectors are here because I'm not going one by one to check them. When I get to them, if I'm missing them, I will be very upset. But I do have some spares. Let's see, adhesive sheet for the bed. Got that. The PEI sheet, which is actually the flex sheet, and the milled plate. We've got that, and the 450 watt silicone heater. Got that. That leaves us with. We're not gonna have that. Mostly just hardware. So, from a first view perspective, from unboxing here today, I'd say this kit looks pretty good. It seems to have everything in it. It's missing a couple little items that you should probably have on hand if you're planning on doing this anyways. Most of them are items that you probably get at a local store. I do suggest you do pick up extras. For instance, T-slot nuts. Just get some, you'll have them. Extra hardware, your M3s, your M4s, your M5s. Again, get some, you'll have them. Miscellaneous connectors, things like that. I think for the price, if I was going to part this out myself, I probably could have saved $100, maybe 150. But it probably would take me 3, 4, 5 hours to save that $150, so I really wouldn't have saved it. I do think I'm going to build using the kit. I don't think I'm going to be swapping much out. If anything does fail, then I will swap at that point, but that's part of the thing about building one is you know how it goes together, you know how to take it apart, you know how to fix it. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. Hopefully I get my son to join. Probably not the daughter, but definitely try to get my son to join. We're going to get the frame put together next video. I don't know we'll get much further than that, but it'd be good to get the frame put together. So if you do join, if you want to subscribe, feel free to. We're going to continue to make some videos. Like I said, I got more gear coming. This is our first video. We're going to get this built. We got a lot of things in store. Kids want to really just do some minor stuff that maybe your kids are interested too. They do a lot of the Kiwi crate type stuff, some real simple things like that. I'm interested in 3D printing, drones, arcade machines, electronics in general. Even fixing things here and there. And once in a while we do things outside the house too. I'll build a deck. There's a bunch of stuff we do. Play with Raspberry Pis pretty frequently. Home automation, home assistant. Habitat, Plex media server, what else is there? Oh, home theater. Yeah, I got a home theater upstairs. I'll show you guys sometimes. I use an eSUN 3 LCD projector for that. I've got a 5.1.4 Atmos system. So anyways, yeah. So if you're interested in any of that type of stuff, and I'm willing to listen to you and kind of mold this into something you're interested in watching and maybe learn together through some of these things. Subscribe, and leave some comments. I'll work through it, and I'll try to make improvements as we go and see if I can provide you guys some information you like, and maybe I'll get lucky and you guys provide some information that I'll find useful. So, any way you look at it, it's a win-win. I'll see you next time.